Just talk a little bit about the game. It's a very tough back and forth game, very physical game, lots of points, and just not did it in the way you guys wanted.
Most definitely didn't. Coming into the game, Coach Prohm always preached to us about he has a good feeling when we prepare well as far as being in tune defensively during practice, and we didn't have the same pop that we did, leading up to past games. So, we definitely understand that defense is the most important thing when playing in these type of games. But, we're just going to go back into practice starting Monday and go back to the things that got us to this point now.
Epic game today. Amazing game.
Congratulations to SEMO. Said all along, everybody knows they got a good basketball team. Johnson, Stone, Langford, Bradley. And guys that, you really don't talk much, Cleveland and Calvin, were probably the difference today off the bench. But disappointed for our guys, really disappointed. It's so hard to win a regular season championship. The conference tournament is a weekend of glory, but to go 16 games and put yourselves in a position to win a championship, I'm proud of our guys from that. And congratulations to Belmont. The bottom line comes down to they won at SEMO and Edwardsville. We got beat there. Sometimes I told our guys all season long, I said the Belmont game isn't the game that'll decide the conference championship. It's all these little games that not everybody else makes a big deal of. Those are the ones where you win championships. But credit SEMO, we just couldn't guard them today. And I thought when we had chances to, whether it was a 2-point game, 3-point game, we had chances to get a big rebound or a loose ball. I thought they beat us to the balls. And, to our defense, though, we kept fighting, kept competing, made some big offensive plays, and had a chance in the regulation, had a chance in the first overtime. And then the second overtime, the way it ended, that had no barring. The game was over. SEMO had beat us. We were just hoping we could hopefully get 4 free throws for that instead of 2 and maybe get a miracle tip in, But, SEMO had, they had won the game before, all that escalates at the end.
Would you have expected Jarvis to be able to play 49 minutes tonight?
He didn't practice yesterday, but he shot around today really good. So, and he said he was fine. Eric said he looked good. So, he's a warrior, and he competed. We just didn't guard well, man. We just had so many breakdowns and just weren't in tune defensively. And when we've played well, we've been in tune defensively, and we hadn't been this week, And SEMO's just got a little bit more of a punch than Martin does offensively, And that's nothing to take away from Martin. That's just, that's everybody would probably say that.
After a tough game like this, Coach, what did you tell the team in the locker room?
First thing I told them is give us Cam on the line in Nashville on Saturday night, and we'll go fast forward it to him right there, and we'll take it with 3 seconds to go, shooting 2, so he don't need to blame himself. That's the first thing I told him. And the second thing is told him that the grind of a regular season is and how close we were, and that you have to be better on the defensive end. And the last thing, we prayed for a terrific regular season. Nobody thought we'd be here. Everybody wrote us off a long time ago. So I just told them I was proud of them from that standpoint. And now we got to get back and we got to figure out, because the way the bracket looks like right now, if it holds a higher seed, we're playing one of the elite offensive teams in Eastern Kentucky if the seeds hold. But who knows in the league this year the way it's shook out.
Did you have to lobby for the tee and possibly more time on the clock when all that?
Yeah, I asked for a review earlier on an underneath out of bounds play, and under 2 minutes they refused that. I thought that was the rule. I thought you could ask for a review, and they told me no. On a big jump ball play, I couldn't see it, so I told them that I thought you could review that at the end. And then the game, they were going to go the game, and I begged and pleaded for that. And they just told me they couldn't give me 2 technicals. They could only give me the 1 technical for the dunk. They couldn't give me a technical for the crowd storming.
Is there any?
But that had no bearing in the game. It's dunked, and that was the game. They beat us fair and square through that last play. I was upset about it just because I'm trying for my kids to figure out a way to win at the end. But that had no bearing in the game.
Do you think that this game, win or lose, could help focus the team? You know, that
I think they'll now understand. We didn't have a great week defensively for whatever reason. We didn't have a pop this week. Man, we had a great pop last week at Moorhead. Like Jarvis said, I know when they got a pop and I know when they don't. And for whatever reason, them 3 days leading up to Moorhead, I thought was our best practice of the year. And it's different playing at home as well, but we didn't have a pop this week. And we're not deep. You know, that's people, you know. So that's why we do need to get productive minutes for Tyler when he gets in there, or CJ, so we can be 7 or 8 deep. And, you know, they got to go in there and give us some good minutes. But I think it'll refocus us. But these guys deserved it, man. I wanted it so bad for Dexter. You know, it's sickening, man. You know, the way last season ended, and then for it to end like this, I'm crushed for them, man. You know, Cam have to go through that. We wouldn't be here, man. He's an elite guard. You know, he probably's just gotten talked about a little bit, but you show me a bunch better than him. You know, he made some big plays, and he made some freshman plays, but I'm glad he's with us.
What can you say about TJ's play down the stretch? Got a couple of tie-ups, hit a big three.
Yeah, he made a big three to tie it in regulation. He had it in the one, and he made some big plays. Could have had a couple of and ones maybe, but his 114, 113, he took it to the basket, and he just missed a bunny. And I don't know if he got hit or not, and I have to watch the tape, you know. But it's a physical game, but, you know, we missed that bunny. But he did. He made some big offensive plays. We just weren't good enough defensively. You know, bad fouls, putting guys on the line, getting driven, not getting in front, and just letting them post us up. You know, we need to be front in the post. They just weren't locked in defensively. And, you know, but still had chances. You know, we were resilient, you know, because we can score.